At lilAgents, we ran a report on the Fortune 500 websites and how AI accessible they were. So here are the findings from that report. Essentially, AI agents will be the ones accessing websites and retrieving information. And recently, Cloudflare and Google have each published what the agent ready factor means, according to them. And we took it upon ourselves to scan the entire Fortune 500 organizations and see how well they scored. So, isitagentready.com is a site created by Cloudflare. It measures 13 emerging agent readiness standards, covers things like robots.txt, sitemaps, LLMs.txt, AI bot rules, and more. And these are the exact same checks that actual AI agents would run when scanning websites and browsing them. Google's takes a different angle, which are 8 recommendations around for browser using AI agents, things like semantic HTML, ARIA roles, which are things related to accessibility, labeled inputs, preventing elements from shifting or covering other elements, making sure they're of a certain minimum size. So it's less of can the agent find you or discover your site, and more can the AI agent actually do things on your web page once it gets there. So a little bit of a different angle. So these are the 4 tiers that we kind of went through. The first one's like kind of the most important, universal for discovery from a discovery standpoint. So things like your robots.txt, LLMs.txt, sitemap, things like that. Tier 2 is a bit more specific to API and auth. So if you have a way to log in on your website. So I wouldn't say it's the universal check that we would do. And then tier 3 is more on the advanced side around web bot authentication, MCP servers, that kind of thing. And then the last one is specifically around agent user experience on your site, which we mentioned earlier. So this is what's interesting. From the Fortune 500 sites, 0 of them actually pass the 8 universal checks. So none of them are compliant with what's recommended right now when it comes to discovery. 137 sites, so nearly a third, scored 0 out of 8 on the most basic universal checks. And then 20% of sites, almost 100 of the Fortune 500, actively block all bot traffic as a rule. So it doesn't even let them show up, which is wild. So the ones that did the best are actually Dell and Opendoor. They're tied at 5 out of 8 checks passed. But the vast majority of them failed, most of them, or half of them. So from a revenue standpoint, if you consider the $16 trillion of the Fortune 500, 3.9 trillion are on the failing sites, and then nearly 3 trillion are on sites that block all bots. So only 0.3 trillion sit on sites scoring above 50% score, and 98% of that revenue are on sites that fail more than half of the basic checks. So that puts things into perspective, I would say, quite a bit. So here's kind of the narrative surrounding these tiers. The discovery checks is a 25% average. That's abysmal. That means that these organizations are going to have a lot of catching up to do when it comes to being cited and referenced. Now, of course, they have their large brand and historical data and all that to lean on, but eventually they're going to have to catch up. Agent user experience, the Google-related checks, are 73% on average, which is interesting. I'll talk about again in a second. Really what that has to do is the 15 years of accessibility work translates directly to it. So in an effort to make the web more accessible for visually impaired or something like that, has actually really helped agents as well. And so sites are generally agent-friendly when it arrives there, but they're invisible to find. So that's the current bottleneck. So discovery and not interaction is the binding constraint. So what should you do about it? Well, you want to ship an LLMs.txt if you can. Those are specific instructions on what your website's for to LLM specifically. You can route that through your robots.txt. You can explicitly specify AI bot rules in your robots.txt, and you can publish an agent skills index as well. Generally speaking, you want to look at your bot management and figure out if agents can reach you or not. And that's something that you can do by going to that website that I showed you earlier that Cloudflare put out. Or if you'd like a more detailed, personalized, bespoke, tailored report on your website specifically, that's something that we do for free. So if you're interested in that, you can drop a comment or send me a message, and we'd be happy to take care of that for you. Anyhow, I found this pretty interesting. If you want the full findings, the entire report will be available, and I'll make sure that it's shared, where you can really dig into these details. We have tier 4 specifics, or all of tier 4 tier specifics, the key findings that I kind of broke down in this video by industry. So this is pretty interesting. Media being the best, tech being number 3, and then more of a breakdown on those. And of course, you can also check them out, the entire list of all of the Fortune 500 organizations. These are based in the US, by the way. The Fortune 500 based in the US. Every single one is available here for your perusal, and the methodology why it matters. So if you found this useful, I hope that you did. And if you're interested in applying some of this to your own site, just reach out. Thanks.